Hi, it's the M.L.M for the Soul Channel. I do have a new topic for today. Before I begin, I just would like to say, may the words and expressions of my mouth and the thoughts and meditations of my heart find favor and acceptance before you, Hashem. And some people I thank you have inspired me. Hope they can inspire you as well. I will have links below this video to their sites. They are Rabbi Yosef Mizrahi, Rabbi Eli Mansour Balon Anavar, Rabbi Yuval Ovadia, Rabbi Daniel Asser, Nissan Baruch Black, Rabbi Michael Skobach, Jews for Judaism, Rabbi David Ashir, Rabbi Ron Ruvain, and Rabbi Yosef Chesney. As well, if you've never checked out this channel before, I will have a link below to my first video, which explains what M.L.M for this all means, what it stands for, what I'm doing. So this is for the upcoming Parasha Re'eh. This is again from Rabbi Eli Mansour's weekly Parasha Insights. I call this, first is the sacrifice, later is the benefit. So this week's Parasha Re'eh, teaches about the commandment to give ma'asrot. If you don't know what ma'asrot is, that's tithing. And it says in Devarim 14:20, you shall set aside each year a tenth part of all the yield of the sowing that is brought from the field. Of course, while the Torah relates to an agrarian society, and the farmer is expected to separate tithes from his produce, nowadays we're expected to give tzedakah, which is charity, from our earnings. So the Gemara in Tanis 8b teaches that unlike other commandments, one can expect to receive a reward for giving tzedakah. Regarding this, the Talmud relates the following story. Rabbi Yochanan found the young son of Reish Lakish. And if you don't know the story of Reish Lakish, he was actually a gangster, and he gave that all up and became a great leader, a rabbi, and married, Rabbi Yochanan's sister, I think it was, if I remember correctly. So that was actually his grandson. Not his grandson, his nephew. I say, excuse me, it's not his father, his sister. So anyway, that you could look that up, that story, if you're interested in learning more. So anyway, he said to the boy, recite to me your verse that you studied today in school. The boy said to him, Asher tit asher, to asher, a tithe shall you tithe. The boy further said to Rabbi Yochanan, well, what is the meaning of this phrase? A tithe shall you tithe. So Rabbi Yochanan said to him, the verse means take a tithe so that you will become wealthy. So the Midrash, without explanation, connects this commandment to another verse in Koheles 10:2. A wise man's understanding is at his right hand, but a fool's understanding is at his left. What message does the Midrash intend to convey? How does the commandment to give tzedakah relate to, quote, a wise man's understanding is at his right hand? So the Kedushat Sion, as a commentary I've never heard of, but I'm sure it's valid if Rabbi Mansour says so, anyway, offers an interesting suggestion. He first notes that the Gemara in several places asserts that, quote, the words of Torah are poor in one place and rich in another place. Seemingly, the Gemara means that while in one place it may be difficult to understand a passage of Talmud, elsewhere where one can find more interpretations, or elsewhere one can find more interpretations. That's what he meant. However, there is a deeper interpretation of this passage. When one begins to learn Gemara, he struggles to understand its language, style, and concepts, and may even become very frustrated. He should realize that eventually, after practice and hard work, the Torah opens up, and one can see its depth and beauty. Therefore, the rabbis teach that the Torah is, quote, poor when one begins, but, quote, rich after time. Similarly, the Talmud in Megillah 6b states that we believe one who says regarding learning Torah, quote, I toiled and I found something. Commentaries explain that if one works hard and toils when one is young, eventually Torah insights will come to him with ease as one who finds something. The same is true, said the Kedushat Sion, regarding tzedakah. When a person first gives charity, he feels the sacrifice. Tzedakah is, quote, poor in one place. For example, you hear people who say, they give a certain amount and then they cringe, it bothers them. That means it's hard for them to do it. That's a sacrifice. But keep giving. Don't let that stop you. Don't let the like we say, the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, say no. You don't give. However, the Torah promises that eventually, after giving much tzedakah, it will not be difficult. Rather, it will be, quote, rich in a different place, as he will be blessed with wealth. The Kedushat Sion notes that elsewhere a different verse in Mishlei 3:16 says, the length of days is in her right hand, and in her left hand riches and honor. He employs this verse to explain the midrash cited above. The right hand represents the long road. That is the road of the wise man. And the wise man can see the long-term benefit and understands that when he gives tzedakah, he may receive the reward only after a long time. However, the fool looks for, quote, riches and honor, and is frustrated when he gives tzedakah and does not receive an immediate reward. The BeEzrat Hashem explains that this is the intention of the Midrash. Furthermore, we may suggest a deeper understanding for the Gemara cited above. When Rabbi Yochanan asked the student what he was studying, the young Talmud responded, Aser to Aser. He felt like tzedakah, he was giving without receiving any benefit. So Rabbi Yochanan explained to him, the Torah study may be, quote, poor in the beginning, but will be, quote, rich in the end. When a person gives tzedakah at first, he feels the sacrifice and only later receives the benefit. Similarly, Rabbi Yochanan explained to the child that when learning Torah, at first one may feel only frustration, but eventually he will see the wealth. It is important to add that the reward described above also corresponds to a manner in which one gives tzedakah. Later in the parsha, the Torah says, quote, but each with his own gift according to the blessing that the Lord your God has bestowed upon you. That's Devarim 16 and 17. So the commentators ask, what does the Torah mean? Kimatnat yado kivirkat Hashem, meaning like the gift of his hand, like the blessing of God. Why doesn't the Torah simply say that if he gives a gift, he will receive the blessing of Hashem? The simple understanding is that the blessing a person receives is in accordance with the amount that a person gives. However, some suggest a deeper explanation. Rav Shimshon Raphael Hirsch, or I don't know if it's pronounced Shamshon Raphael Hirsch, some people say, taught that a person is measured by the manner in which he gives. Here, too, the blessing of Hashem is dependent upon the manner in which he gives the gift, i.e. by his initiative or only after being asked. Meaning, does he do it on their own, or does he wait? So the message of this verse is that a person who gives tzedakah generously and properly will one day be rewarded and will continue to be able to give tzedakah with greater ease and without sacrifice. And a side note, I just wanted to say about all this about giving tzedakah. You can give to so many different organizations and everything that's out there, but it's been actually said by, I believe, recently, not very recently, but it's been said, it's been asked to Rav Chaim Kanievsky Shlita, may he live long, because he's not a youngster. What's the most important charity to give? And he said at this time, it's kiruv. And what is kiruv? Kiruv is helping people that are kind of maybe falling off the way a little, meaning off the derech, or not just for only them, but like for people who want to, strengthen their connection to Hashem and the Torah and everything, and want to just get stronger. But it's a lot for that. Kiruv is meaning to bring people closer, to be people who are far away or that are already there, but still we all need chizuk, we all need strengthening and inspiration. So the most important thing is to give to kiruv. And why is that? Because if you think about it, or if you're not aware, when you give charity to, let's say, an organization who feeds the poor, who does things like that, or to a synagogue, it's just one mitzvah, and that's it. Finished. Nothing. You don't get more than one. But kiruv is different. With kiruv, what happens is, when you donate money, if you can just donate to the organization, like, for example, some of the rabbis I mentioned below that I would definitely, make a very strong suggestion to donate to Rabbi Yosef Mizrahi, Rabbi Yaron Reuven, Rabbi Alon Anava. They're ones that do really great kiruv, so that I've have a connection to as well and know what they do. So what I was saying is, with kiruv, when you donate, like I just donate money to the organization and let them give out, because they have CDs that they give out to people to help them. So what happens is, it's a twofold thing where you never lose. So that's why it's the best investment ever. And it's a spiritual investment that goes on for eternity, as opposed to an investment here that ends. When you leave this world, it ends. But this investment never ends. So that's pretty amazing to have that kind of return on your investment. So just to finish up, so I could end the video, just to give you that lowdown what it's all about. So when you give the money and they use it for the CDs, and they give the CDs out for free, that's what I tell them. Just use this money to give the CDs for free to people. So the people they give it to, they'll take it and listen to it, or put it in a drawer, or maybe not even keep it, throw it out. There's all different things. So the two scenarios are either they do listen and it helps them, they don't listen and it helps, or three, they listen and it doesn't do anything for them, which is almost impossible, unless they're that cliche, or if, like we say, stiff-necked, or the third is that they don't even bother. So in all three scenarios, you don't lose. If they listen and they don't do anything about it, you still get credit, and they're listening to Torah, so that's endless mitzvahs. I think, what is it, 60,000 an hour, like me talking. That's, that's mitzvah accruing anytime you talk Torah, for each letter. So if they do, I mean, you get credit for all those hours. So it counts in your spiritual bank account. And if they just throw it away and they just don't want it, they're not interested, you get their olam haba. So there you go. And then the ones who listen and change, the benefit of that is that they're going to continue doing mitzvahs, meaning they change now. All the Torah they listen to, you get credit for, plus they change, and if they're married, and if they have kids, or they're going to have kids, or they have family, friends, neighbors, relatives, whatever, colleagues. So it's a snowball. So it's like the best multi-level marketing for your soul, like the name of my channel, M.L.M for the soul. So you're getting this. It keeps growing. It never ends. And you leave this world, your neshama goes up to the next world. You're still getting credit for all those people that you've helped, and it keeps growing. It never ends. It's a continuum, for eternity. So why wouldn't you invest? It's hard. The Yetzer Hara does try to stop you, but don't let him stop you. I mean, if you're on a hard time right now, it's the best investment, and it's really going to help you then, especially with tzedakah, helps you against certain things if you had a decree against you. So think about it now, and also we're coming up soon to Chodesh Elul, and then Tishrei, so the new year, the Jewish New Year, BeEzrat Hashem. So think about it, and I hope you will make that investment, and I hope we'll all merit to live and see the coming of Mashiach speedily in our days and rebuilding of our final and everlasting Beit HaMikdash. Amen, and thanks for watching.